FBI informant charged with lying about Biden's role in Ukraine. Yeah, well, he got caught. You and I know, have such different feelings about Ukraine, and that's why we do these segments, because I respect your opinion, you respect mine, and so it doesn't make any difference to me, really, that this one guy was caught, making stuff up about what actually happened. If you just look at the elements of it. And I know there's been investigations and nothing happened, but I can't help but look at the elements of the Burisma connection to Hunter Biden and President Biden and Joe Biden.
But it's all based on this guy who admitted in court yesterday now, yeah, I made it all up. None of it's real.
Was it all based on that, though? Farron, that's where I think you and I very.
That is what the FBI used to launch the investigation.
Okay.
And you had the FBI that said, no, we're not going to release whatever the form number is that he had filled out, 1039 maybe, I think, something to that effect. And then finally the Republicans said, no, by God, we're going to release it because the public needs to know what this man, Alexander Smirnov, says. And they release it. And oh, my God, it's shocking. This corruption, the bribery taking place, the money changing hands. And this guy says, well, actually, hold up. No money
I didn't do it.
No money changed hands. He made that up. And if that's not like the heart of the thing, because there's no issue with a private U.S. citizen working for a foreign company. That's perfectly legal.
I know
it may not be ethical,
I know it's legal,
but it's not.
Farron.
It's not illegal.
But how do you? The emails. Okay, let's take everything that guy did and throw it out. Now I look at this. I used to be a prosecutor. I look at it like a prosecutor. A typical kind of defense to a criminal case is to create that hearing. Okay, this is what's important, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Ignore all this other stuff, and all this other stuff is. I think it's important.
What is it?
Well, I think you've got the emails that took place between Hunter Biden and the Chinese, for example, not Ukraine, but it was the same. It was the same process. They were energy companies. Okay, how does the President of the United States? And I know your position on this. He goes over. There's an investigation taking place of Burisma. He goes over in strong arms, and your position is, well, more people did it than just President Biden.
It's not my position, it's a fact.
Well, it is a fact, but that's something you like to say, and I get that.
Yes, because it was the global community.
And I like to say, this is the President of the United States who's working for Burisma. He's on the board of directors, has zero experience, knows nothing about the business, and all of a sudden he's on the board of directors. Daddy is showing up saying, this mean man who's going after you needs to be kicked. We need to put him in prison.
But Shokin was not going after Burisma. He had not launched an investigation. That didn't happen. And so Shokin was supposed to be investigating Burisma, but was not. And that was part of the corruption because of his, alleged ties to the company and from Saudi Arabia after
Surprise,
this.
It's my next story.
I know, because I put it there.
Okay, so the point being, this isn't right and this isn't right.
Right.
And why can't we have enough damn courage to say, hell no, you should not have this worthless dirt bag on the board of a company that you have anything to do with, Mr. President. Why would we allow that? Not just Ukraine, but China too. In any way you look at it, it doesn't pass the smell test, and I'll give you that. The Kushner thing is no better. It's no better.
Well, listen, just so I can be clear about the Hunter Biden thing. Anytime I've talked about this guy and mentioned Burisma and all that, I've always said, he has no, this is a job this guy was totally not qualified for. It's obvious why he was there. The issue
Which is why.
Because if Biden was vice president at the time, we want an in. Obviously, that much is crystal clear. He did not want to go after them when he was supposed to. Now, I'll give you this. Should Hunter Biden have been on the board of, literally any business in the world?
And brother, by the way.
No.
Brother Jim's also involved in this.
What was Jim?
Jim was tied into
because I've seen his name and I've never seen anything beyond Jim Biden. So I would love an explanation as to what did Jim Biden allegedly do.
Jim Biden is tied clearly into the Chinese issue. I mean, clearly.
But how?
Emails saying that $10 million is being negotiated for Hunter. $10 million. $10 million per year. Jim was the go-between on that. I mean, there's so many little parts.
That sounds like a business deal.
Come on, brother. Come on.
It's not ethical, but not illegal.
Yeah, I know. I understand.
And we've talked about this Hunter Biden thing 1,000 times. I don't think we've ever once mentioned Jared Kushner getting $2 billion. So I believe that firmly, and I will give you that 100%. But have we been able to tie anything to anything illegal? There's a lot of grotesque things, but this is not the only informant that has said, I lied.
Okay. Here's my point to the story that we just talked about.
Yeah.
It is that this guy comes forward and we find out he lied. You can't ignore all the other parts. That's all I'm trying to say. If I'm prosecuting a case, I expect the defense to do exactly what's happening here. Create a distraction, okay? This guy lied. All this other stuff, there's still no answer in my mind. Maybe in yours, but there's no answer in my mind. But let's make the transition to to Saudi Arabia, to $2 billion. Yeah.
Yeah, look, we've got Eric Trump who proudly announces last week, guess what? We're going to have Trump Tower Jeddah in Saudi Arabia. Mm-hmm. And this is a deal that, by the way, they have been working on for several years. They were also working on Trump Tower in Israel. They want to open several hotels there, but that got thrown off with the conflict. But the hotels, by the way, in Israel, because this is such a juicy story too, they have strategically bought these places, one right next to the defense ministry, so that way you get all of the visiting officials, everybody there.
Yeah,
the other is right next to the military base.
Okay.
So you get all these people. But this one in Saudi Arabia.
That has not gone through.
That's on hold, he says.
That's on hold, okay.
But Saudi Arabia, by God, that's happening. And what a wonderful thing it is, because God knows if you want to go somewhere luxury on vacation, you go to Saudi Arabia.
Okay, the difference here, I'm not going to try to defend it. Okay, that's the difference. And I'm just saying, why can't we process all of this and say that Biden story is just as ugly as this story? There's no way for me to. I mean, he's taken up with Mohammed bin Salman, who is what? We know the guy's a thug.
Yeah.
I mean. We know what he's done. What, 90 people beheaded last year?
Oh, it was hundreds. They did the big event where 2023, where they had, I think it was 200 plus that they brought in and just
Khashoggi. We know that he was watching the murder of this man, or at least pretty good evidence
from the
he was.
Closed circuit TV
Closed circuit television. Let's cut off his head. I want to see that. The guy is a dangerous dictator.
He really is.
And so he knows that the Saudis were behind 9/11. Well, we can't hide from that. We know that. It's not speculation anymore. The royal family directly connected to all of that. But he's going to take $2 billion and make more money for his fund.
And after he spent 4 years as the Middle East envoy.
Yeah.
So, obviously sitting there talking to these people, builds good relationships, gets $2 billion for a company that doesn't yet exist other than on paper. It is sickening to see this, especially because we as a country, through Democrats and Republicans, have had this horrid relationship with Saudi Arabia where we give them everything they want.
They want
and
bombs,
they turn around and beat the crap out of us in return.
Now, how about this? Biden, day one, says we're going to send you, was it $50 billion worth of weapons? Some god-awful number like that. Okay. And all we want you to do is keep the price of oil down. So Saudi Arabia, sure, we'll do that. Well, hell, the next week, the price of oil goes up after we deliver the $50 billion worth. These people are thugs.
And Biden went back. He says, well, why are you not doing that? And say, well, we're not going to do it.
Yeah.
And so then Biden, because the story's even worse than just what you. Biden says, okay, well, we're not going to give you any more weapons. And then I think it was 6 months later, he says, okay, we'll send you more weapons.
Yeah.
Can you lower oil prices for us? They say, well, we're still not going to do it, but thanks for all the weapons.
Yeah, he's a putz. I mean, we got putz
but
for
he
president.
was, Trump was, Obama was, Bush obviously was.
The difference, okay, look, here's the point only point I'm trying to make with you, Farron. I see the whole Biden, China, Ukraine story the same way. And we just have a differences of opinion. But I'm still willing to embrace for both sides. Kushner shouldn't do this kind of thing. It's wrong. And I just think we have to call it out all the time.
Well, the difference is I'm also not saying that Jared Kushner broke the law.
Yeah.
I'm just saying this is shady, just as I've admitted Hunter Biden is shady. But I'm not saying that he has broken any laws, just like I said,
Right.
Hunter,
Right.
from what I've seen, has not broken any laws.
Yeah. Either way, I think we have to be vigilant in calling out independent, Democrat, Republican. We just have to do that.
He said advocates learned a lot during Trump prior administration, including better ways to organize. She was among hundreds of lawyers who provided free legal services to immigrants at O'Hare International Airport in January 2027. After Trump temporary ban refused and citizens from 7 Muslim majority countries from the entering US. As much as we did not be here again, we are more experienced. McCarthy said we are different immigration layers than we were 8 years ago. In Los Angeles, Julie Gomez, 15, sat and listened attentively to Coalition for Human Immigration Rights workshop. Filming key snippets on her cell phone, she came with an Armenian community member who needs help. With Gomes wants to learn and prepare so she can spread the word to others in her Guatemalan community. While she said she does not have reason to worry about Trump immigration proposal, she knows many people who do. They are obviously worried because they could be deported and what would happen to their children, Gomes said, confused and worried. Liva, who manages communities education programs at Jilla, spent more than an hour spelling out what immigrants should and should not do if they contacted by federal authorities. She said they should put all their important documents in one place and save money in case they need a lawyer. And if they are detained by authorities, Leva said they should provide their names and birthday, but nothing more. So relatives can look them up in an immigration detention database. Do not make job easy. Labor told the group, they have a job, you have right. Rain reported from Chicago, Associated Press writers Gisela Salmon in Miami and Susan High in Hartford contributed. And he tries to give much energy to the immigrants and for their problems to solve their all problems and all their